Well, hello. I'm glad you could join us today for the 9th episode of the second season of the Salem Painter. If you watched before, I'd like to thank you for watching me again. But if you haven't, I'd like to invite you to join us and paint with us. All right, today we're going to do a painting on a black canvas. I've already painted a little bit on here. I've got some blue. I've got a little bit of green and brown down at the bottom. And I just went ahead and put a thin layer of that on. These are transparent colors, so when you paint over them with some white, they're actually going to show up. So we're going to start off doing some of that, and just get a little bit of white. Just make some X-shaped strokes. It's already picking up the color in the background, and it shows up really bright. I really like the black canvases because they make the colors look like they're glowing. Alright, I'm just going to keep coming down with that. If you feel like you need some more color in the sky, you can pick up some more white. Go down, get a little bit more. I start a separate pile here so I don't turn all of my white blue. But we'll just load the brush up with it. Go back up to the canvas. Start brushing on some more. It's good to be back in the studio again. We were quite far ahead with our taping schedule for the show, and so the show on television, it's been going on every 2 weeks as planned, but I haven't uploaded anything to YouTube in quite a while. So it's good to be back in the studio and see everybody again. All right, I'm just gonna do some more of that, and while I'm blending in the sky, I'm going to show you a little video that I have prepared. It's some paintings that a guy I know named Justin Hill did, and he sent them in to me to put on the show. I want to start trying to feature more things like that, videos from other artists. So anyway, these are some pictures that he did, and the last one was one that his son did. His son's 8 years old. If an 8-year-old can make a painting like that, any of us can. If I can make a painting, I know you can. So, all right, we're just gonna come down a little bit. I'm gonna have the trees come up to about here, so I don't have to take the sky all the way down to where the horizon would be, because we're not gonna see the horizon. All right, now I'm gonna go down to the palette, and I want to make a really dark color, so I'm going to mix together some brown, some blue, a little bit of green. Just wiggle the brush through it. Loading it up with paint. Want a lot of paint in there. All right. And I'm going to start making some trees. And to do that, I'm just going to tap with my brush and then just kind of use the corner. Come down. Make these evergreen trees. They're kind of far off, so we're not too worried about them. We'll just put a little bit of detail. We're not going to go paint in every little limb. And let's see, a little bit more. Another one right here. It's a little bit taller. And we can just make as many of these or as few of these as we like. This is your painting, so you decide. And I'm just going to come on across the top here, because I already have an idea of what I'm going to do. I'm actually painting this one for someone. She asked me to paint a waterfall, so I'm going to do that today. And I tried this last week, and it turned out pretty good, so now we're going to try it again on the show. Sometimes I'll try things for the first time right here live, and other times I like to try them out to see how it works. Maybe I need a little more practice. I'm sure you all remember my terrible seascapes I did. come down with another tree there. And as you can see, we're just using the corner of the fan brush. Every time we go back down, we're loading it up with just squiggling the brush across the paint. Loading it up with a lot of paint. All right, some more back here. And maybe another one back here. It's really tall, almost at the top. And another one right here. Just wherever. And I'm going to get a little bit bigger brush. Maybe load it up with some of that same dark color, more of the brown. And we're just gonna fill in some ground right here. This is just some dark color. We could even use a roller brush to put this in if we really wanted to. Just indication of some bushes and things like that up here. All right, back across again. All right, and I'm going to clean off my fan brush. We always clean the big brushes off and beat them into our trash can over here, but with these, you want to just wipe off as much of the paint as you can, and then you'll just go scrub it along the screen in the bottom of your paint thinner can. And then just wipe it off again. You just want to do that a couple of times until most of the paint's out of it. You'll never get it all, so don't even try. But just enough to clean it off, because you don't want to change the color of your paint. Now I'm having trouble getting that one clean, so I think for this one we're just going to use a different fan brush. I'm going to get some white here. And I'm going to make a waterfall. And I want it to be right here, so we're just gonna kind of let it swoop over the side, just like water running over a waterfall would. Just swoop straight down, just however we want it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You want to try to go all the way from the top to the bottom if you can. And it's okay if there's some places that aren't even, like you can see here. I'm getting it a little bit darker in the middle, but that's all right. And I'm gonna put a little more white in there. And you see it's picking up some of the blue that's already there. And I think I'll get one more little wave of water going down through here. All right, there we go. Maybe at the bottom, put some white in where it's all bubbling around, splashing. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go down to our palette. Lay that brush to the side, and we're going to just get a little brown. Maybe we'll make a little rock in here, sticking out. However we want it, doesn't matter. Just put it in there. All right. And we gotta, this waterfall's gotta be contained by something, so maybe we have some rocks here on the side. We'll just do the same thing, get a little brown, spread it out on there. Make a little rock sticking out. Right now you probably can't see it very well because of the black canvas, but it'll show up when we put a highlight on it. We're just going to drag that down. All right. And maybe there's some land over here on the other side. We'll just go put that in the same way. Just using our palette knife, just scrape it in. However you want. You know, if you all have any ideas for me, you can always contact me at thesalempainter@gmail.com. We also have a Facebook, which is facebook.com/thesalempainter. And I might have shared this with you in a previous episode, but I'm not sure. We finally got over 500 subscribers on YouTube. So now instead of having to search for The Salem Painter on YouTube to find us, you can just go to youtube.com/thesalempainter. It's very exciting. For me, anyway. And I'm going to put a little more brown down here. Whoa! Got some green. Wasn't watching what I was doing. You know what? We're going to go with it. We're just going to put some green in there. I'm going to wipe my knife off. That's what happens when I'm not watching what I'm doing. All right. A little more brown. Mix it in with that green. Maybe we got a little grass and bushes and stuff up there. I don't know. Just spread it on out. Okay, now back to the brown. Maybe another rock right in here. And there we go. You know what? I want to make one more on this side. I know this has got to be getting boring for you because it's all dark. You can barely see it. But we'll be done with this in a minute. Another little cliff right there. Rock jutting out of the side. Okay. Now that we're done with that, we're going to put some highlights on this rock. So we're going to go back down to our palette, take a little bit of the brown and a little bit of the white, get a little more white, and we're just going to mix them together to make, I don't know, a light brown color. And before we go on, I'll wipe off the palette knife with a napkin. I'm going to go back up. All right, now I'm just going to get a little bit of that paint on my palette knife and just barely go across it to add some highlights to this. We'll just let the paint break just like we do when we're painting mountains. And if the paint that's on the bottom is thicker, it's going to take the paint off that it wants and leave the rest behind. And that's what you want. You want it to break like that so it looks like highlights on the rocks. Do the same thing over here. And some of this I'm going to come back and cover with some bushes and grasses, things like that. So we're not too worried about it. Just put a few and move on. All right, we're gonna put some on this rock. Every rock there is gonna have its own little highlight. A bit more off the side with it. And then the same thing on this side. Lots of highlights. I love waterfalls. I don't know why I didn't paint some a long time ago. Alright, and here we want some coming down the side, just however you think the land would go. Maybe add a little more white into it so we can get some more light shining. Alright, and I'm tired of highlighting, so that's enough. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is go back down to the palette. I'm going to pick up some dark colors. And we're going to go back up top where we were highlighting before. And we're going to just tap in some bushes there. Tap in some ground. We'll come back and highlight these with some colors in a minute. Maybe some brown, blue, mix it all together. And even some up here on top of these little projections. Maybe we got some bushes up here. We just want to make sure we cover up all that color that we had from the sky. Because you're not going to look through the little cliffs up here and see the sky shining through it, are you? You know, I always tell people all the time that I'm not an artist, I'm just a painter. You know, the first step to being a good artist is to paint something that you like, paint something that you don't hate. I'm still working on that one. I'm always my own worst critic. That's what they always say. All right. Next, we're gonna go back down and get some yellow. We're gonna start highlighting some of these bushes. And to do that, we'll just come tap along. And we're gonna want to make sure that we do one bush at a time, because if we don't, it's just gonna look like we threw a bunch of paint there. These are individual bushes, one at a time. Change up the colors a little bit, maybe mix in a little green with the yellow. And really nice bright color. And some of this you might want to make it look like it's a grassy area, and you can just do that by just tapping, putting in a little color and tapping. And every now and then while you're painting, you're going to want to step back and just kind of take a look at what you got, because when you're very close, it's hard to see. So I'm going to go back to my canvas and just back up and take a look at what we got. All right. Tap in a little more color here. And I'm going to come back again with a smaller brush, make some more defined bushes, maybe add a little crimson in my yellow, make a little bit of a fall kind of color. Just tap one in there. Okay, I got a bush right here. Maybe mix together more of the green with it. A little more right there. And while I'm thinking about it, I want to get some more of this yellow color. Just pull it out, mix it in with the green. And I want to add some highlights to these trees that we did. Just gonna kind of come down them and think about where your light's coming from. In this case, it's coming from this side of the painting. So I want to highlight that side of the tree. We don't have to put much color here. You know, these kind of trees, evergreens, they don't have that much color, but you know, just a little bit here and there. It's gonna look nice. Just barely tap. You know, these trees are pretty far off in the distance too, so we're not too worried about them. Tap on that, and just these outside edges. You can get a little on the other side if you like, because the light shines through. Just some highlights. The most important part of these trees is the dark color underneath. You got to have dark to have light. You know, if we started out just painting trees the color we wanted them with no dark underneath, it's just going to look like a blob of color. All right. And now that we got that, we're going to come forward in the painting. Well, maybe we get some brown and put in here where we had all this green. Looks like maybe there had a big tree or bush coming down through here. So we'll put in a little dark color. Maybe some little bushes down here. All right, and we're going to go back to that white. We're just going to load up our fan brush with that, just like we did when we were doing the trees. Just lots of color. We're going to come back up, and we're just going to think about where this water would go after it landed in the creek down here. You know, maybe it's rippling around. There's some rocks underneath. Maybe here and there we got a little place where it fell down a little more. Maybe there was another little ridge right here, so another little waterfall going across. And water splashing. Just wherever we want it to go. Maybe we'll scrub in some places down here where the water's a little more calm. And we'll come back and put some splashes over that. And as you can see, the water's picking up the colors that we had underneath, the green and the brown, mixing in with the white. And just wherever you think maybe there'd be a little rock in the water right here, so we'd have a little bit of extra water splash up around it. You can just kind of make this look like it's going the direction of the stream. Pull down a little with the fan brush. All right. And now maybe I'm going to come back and get a little bit of brown and make some rocks out here in the water. Maybe they're just sticking up. Maybe one right here. Already looks like we got one there, so it's a perfect place for one. Maybe one right here. Wherever you think there would be a rock in your world. You made this up so it can be a rock anywhere you want it. Maybe we got another little land projection coming down through here. Gotta have something to hold all that water in there. And looks like maybe there's one right there. And I'm going to come back and get some of that highlight color to go over these rocks. Anywhere you got a dark place, you got to have a highlight over it. Anytime there's light, there's going to be a shadow. Get that one out there a little bit darker, more defined. Maybe I'll go back into some of my white, pull the water around it. All right. Okay, now every now and then, as I said before, you want to sit back and look at your painting from far away. And it's important to do this because you really can't tell what's going on up close. So when I back away and I look a little bit, I notice I need to have a little more detail up here in my bushes. So I'm going to take a brush, 1-inch brush, and start making some more little bushes going down through here. Some that are a little brighter, you know, maybe they're a little bit closer to us. Where before I've been making them very soft. Here I want to put a little more paint on the brush and make them look like they're a little closer to us. There's a nice orange one out there. And I can put some out on these little projections. Growing out on the rocks. Just switch up the color. Maybe some more out here. And since we had that blob of green that I thought was a mistake, we'll turn it into a nice tree. Just get a little branch going down through it. Maybe a little more out this way. You know, it's nice to do these with a white color so it looks like light shining on it. Maybe white or brown mixed with white. And we got to remember that there's two sides, so we want a darker side to the trunk. There's a shadow side and there's a light side. Alright, and after I've got that done, I'm going to come back over this again with some of the darker color, brown, and just cover up some of it with leaves. I'm going to come back with my highlight color. And I think here we're going to have a bright green mixed with some yellow. You can see me doing that there. Alright, we're just going to go back up and put little tufts of leaves. But we want to make sure that we can still see the trunk through here. Maybe a little hanging out into the water there. Alright, down at the bottom of this tree, maybe get some brown mixed with orange and put some little bushes growing right here. Maybe a little green going out there. And if we don't like any of this, we can always paint over it. Alright, I'm going to come put some bushes down at the bottom here. Make sure you leave some dark areas in between, so there's some shadows. I really like this color I've chosen to use today. It's Indian yellow. It kind of has a orange color to it. Ooh, picked up a little red in there. Looks like some little wildflowers growing. And I don't have to go paint in the dark color because the black canvas has already got that covered for me. So I'll just go ahead and paint the flowers and bushes in that I want. And remember that these are separate bushes, so we're just doing one at a time. This is what's going to make them stand out, is leaving this little black area in between. Alright, already looking like a nice field of flowers. We haven't really done any work to it. And, you know, on these little cliffs, maybe we have some little things that grow out on them. Maybe not as much, but, you know, things coming up through the cracks of the rocks. Maybe a little bit of that orange up here in the top. Alright, now the next thing I'm going to do, I want to make a little rock or something coming through here. So I'm just going to take some brown and just smear it across it. Or maybe it's a little trail going up through here. Gotta have a way to get up to the top of that waterfall. And we're just scraping the brown. And we can even do this with a fan brush. Just take the fan brush, get your brown on it, and just kind of scrub it in like that. That does even better for making a trail. And a little path that goes all along the creek. And we can go back and put some highlights on that, a little bit of white. And now that we made a trail going through here, we want to go back and get some of our flower color. Go back over the edges. So we messed up all the bushes we made. All right. Now I'm going to go back to the waterfall. I want some extra splashes around where these rocks are at. We don't want them to look like little fan brush shapes, so we're just going to kind of smooth them out. Yeah, maybe a lot would splash around right there behind that rock. Lots of little ripples in here. A few in there. Now, I'm going to step back, take a look again, see what else I think we need. I think this needs a big tree on the other side. So I'm going to run my palette here, get a little bit of the white and the brown mixed together. Back up to the canvas, and I think I want another little tree right here. Just sticking up out of those bushes. So I'm gonna load up the paint. I want it to be kind of thin, so I mixed in a little liquid white with it, and I'm just gonna rotate the brush as I go downward with it. I was thinking about maybe putting some leaves and stuff on this tree, but I might leave this tree with no leaves. Have an old dead tree out there. You always see a lot of dead trees. You don't want to leave those out of your painting. Maybe some old limbs broken off of it, hanging down. And when you're doing this, you can go through with a little fine one-haired brush and put as many little details as you like. In fact, that'll probably look really nice and impressive, but we don't have that much time, so I'm just going to put a few. If any of you have any paintings that you'd like me to show on the show or anything like that, just drop me a line, let me know. We'll see if we can get them out there. On there, whatever. All right. I'm going to come back and a little color to go at the bottom of that. Cover up the feet of that tree. See, maybe a little bit more over here on the rocks. And maybe a little more orange in this tree. I really like this orange. As you can tell, I'm using it everywhere today. A few more bushes. All right, I'm gonna step back and take a look at what I've got. And I think that looks pretty good. Today we have a few extra minutes. We got done a little bit earlier than we usually do, so I have a few things I'd like to show you. The first thing I'm going to show you is the the preview for a show that my friend is doing. He's an independent filmmaker. He works with a lot of people down in Atlanta, and he's making an independent horror film that's a web series actually called Horror Hotel. And so I'm going to let you watch the preview for that real quick. And then after that, I'm going to show you a video that is actually my band. We did it a few years ago, and we just recently filmed a new video, so when we get that one done, I will show it to you. But his film crew actually helped out with that too, so I'd like to thank them for that. And I'm excited to see the next one. They're actually waiting on me to get the song finished up, so I better get to work on that. Well, thanks for joining us, and I hope to see you next time.
Enter the world of the Horror Hotel. Located on a less traveled road, but frequently visited by interesting characters of society. Nazis replace the police and nobody notices a scream. A place where the innocent are falsely accused, and the trustworthy reign in deception. Death is not always permanent at the hotel. The departed can return in whole or in part. Time appears to stand still. The hotel is home to lust and greed, deadly desire, vanity, and obsession. And pretty girls gone bad swap friendship for beauty. One thing is certain, you never check out the same way you checked in. For the hotel is the great equalizer in the state of the human condition. A place where gangsters and criminals come to conduct nefarious deals. But don't expect it to always be fair. Welcome to the Horror Hotel.